Hey everybody, so I am back for my last installment of a Google Classroom video, and this is basically a real quick one on how to grade your stuff, send it back, and some real basic hints and stuff like that. So what I had do is a couple of my colleagues helped me out and joined the class as students so I could show you just kind of how stuff looks like. Now, when you have students and you assign these assignments, if you will, as I have all through here, which I did in my last video, it will always show you how many are done and how many are not done, okay? That means if the students have submitted it or not. Now, regardless if they actually press the submit button, sometimes students forget, you're always going to have access to their work. So I'm going to hop in here into the Second Industrial Revolution. Now, first and foremost, if this is something I'm going to grade, the first thing I would suggest you do, go up here and make sure you change the assignment. We're going to make this one worth 10 points. Press return. Yes, I would like to update the grades. Okay, and so now everything will be out of 10 points, exactly what I want it to be. So what's really important to understand is that these students do not see anything you type on here and do not get to access the feedback or grading that you're putting on here until you allow them. And that happens when you return the assignment, which we'll get there later. But I want you to really make sure and understand that that's how it works. So I'm going to open up an assignment that I know my student here, if you will, typed it on. They just typed hello. But so what's going to happen here is this is going to open as a Google Doc. Okay, now this was because the student did submit it using Google Classroom. And again, that'll be something more that I can discuss, actually a further video when I look at the student side of it. But so for my purposes, what we have here. So how am I able to grade this? Well, there are a variety of things you can do. When students put this in, you are able to do anything you want to it. Okay, you can change it, you can address it. So for instance here, say this was supposed to be red, I can change it to red. Say, and then I'll change it back. Say they made a mistake and I just want to insert a comment, and maybe I'm going to say, okay, do this. This is incomplete, like I'm putting something right there, okay? Some people like to insert it. I actually prefer to do things like this, like I'll highlight a little area, and then I press this box right up here, and then it allows me to add a comment. Okay, and I can say this is incomplete, and then boom, and it can work its way down. I can do a variety of different things. I can also use their editing tools, okay, to make them suggestions, and everybody can do it as well. So if I'm editing here, okay, and this gives me the ability to cross things out and stuff along that line. So I really have the ability to do whatever I want there. Okay, and what's crucial, so I have this all done. I can do the quick grade. I look up, down, make sure I have everything that's going on here. And actually, the thing is, if I hadn't pressed OK with this, I couldn't actually close this out until my comments were done. So for instance, I do another comment, and I'm like, this is not done properly. Okay, and say I forget doing, I go to close out. Oh, no, wait a minute. Do you want to leave the site? See here, so I cancel that. So it's all good. I'm actually going to cancel this. Now, something else I can do as well is say you had students do a group project and they submitted it. Okay, what you can go file and you can go down to version history, okay? And I'm going to see version history. Now, as you can see here, Julian Framo typed the hello, 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 okay? And then I did some typing on here. Now, what's going to happen is if these students share this Google Doc with each other, anything that each student did, you can actually see. Every time an addition is put in, they are each basically labeled with a color. And so, like when he initially created it, my student didn't write anything on here. That's okay. Then I jumped in, I added some stuff on there, and then that's what we have right now. Okay, so it allows me to go see who did what, which is really, really important, I think, in today's day. All right. And that really allows me to look at different things. And it also allows me to do things like if I want students to do just a rough draft and say, okay, do a rough draft, and I put all these copies on it, or they don't necessarily have to hand it in for me to do that. Also, say I needed to get a quick message to this student about something. If you click on their name, it actually allows you to do a private comment. In this case, I can say, you didn't complete the assignment. I just want them to know something, okay? And so I'm going to post that. And now they'll get an actual email directly sent to their email, and it allows me to communicate with them. They also can come on here and send me a comment as well. And then I'll get an email that they have a comment, and I can tell them how to adjust their work. Okay, and it's really, really cool like that. It definitely allows you this interactive ability with the students and allows you to get their work all the time. As well as sometimes you might have the students submit something that's not a Google Doc itself. So if it's a Word doc or if it's some type of visual they have to submit, maybe you're in a photo class and they're submitting a photo or something. You can't necessarily type on that. But what you can do is you can add private comments and explain to the student what the issue may be. And then in here, I can give it a grade, give it a 3, say out of 10. Okay, my other student here, he didn't get the work done, so he's going to get a 0. Okay, and now I return it. It's going to ask if I want to return the assignments. I say yes, and there we go. Okay. And I want to, again, say yes, return those, I'm sorry, and return that. Okay, so now the students have had their work returned, and now at this point they can access any of the comments that I put on the document. Private comments that you send directly to the students, those they will see immediately. So you could send a particular student a reminder, and it really just allows you, again, that quick ability to talk to the students really at any point if you have to get them a direct message, and will also come up as a message when they log on to Google Classroom itself. Now, understand this might not be quite as quick as immediately writing things down on a piece of paper. I totally get that. I understand, but for me, I've really been able to start to streamline this and allow the work to get done at a faster pace, as well as I don't have to drag papers around. As long as I have an internet connection, I can actually grade things and look over them. I can see when students are submitting something, and if I go back here, okay, so I had these other assignments due on different days. What will happen is, like, when the due date comes, what immediately will say is how many are done and how many are not done, and it will actually mark it as late. Okay, so these are returned, but before I grade it, if I hadn't returned it yet, it will actually tell me if something was submitted late. So after a specific time period, I don't have to go look for a timestamp. Google Classroom does that work for you. So a lot of times I know when you grab papers that are late, maybe you forget to write it on there or something like that, and this really allows that to happen. And so it's really straightforward and pretty easy to do. The most important thing here is that if you're going to use Google Classroom, I would really make sure that you have the students submit work using Google Docs or Google Sheets or a Google presentation if you're using like a PowerPoint or something, because then it allows you to directly edit on the document. You can do things through the comments, as I said, which is okay, but in the end, I think that's much easier. All right, so again, this is a nice short video. Feel free to contact me for any other questions, and hopefully these series of videos have helped you guys out. Take care.